everyone, this is PK Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to do an episode standout of the Ahsoka series and talk about the 4th episode, which was titled The Fallen Jedi. Now there will likely be spoilers throughout for this episode, so just beware when going into this overall video. So we'll get straight into it then, and without question this was the most eventful and action-packed installment of the season so far. Finally we had some moments of genuine drama and much more of a compelling tone. Now whilst it wasn't a mind-blowing episode, it was definitely one that this show needed, because I think it's fair to say that up to now the show has struggled to be compelling at all. The whole plot around finding the map and searching for either Ezra or Admiral Thrawn just hasn't seemed that important, to be honest. And the series so far has been very bland and uninvolving. But as I said at the beginning of this video, this is much more of a review about this particular episode, which again was quite good. Now in terms of the story, this is where we saw Ahsoka and Sabrine Wren continuing to evade the pursuit of Haiti in possession of the map, which sees them retreating into the woods. And overall we get 3 main lightsaber duels, whether it's Ahsoka taking on an Inquisitor with the spinning lightsaber that we first saw I believe in the Obi-Wan series. We get the rematch between Sabrine Wren and Haiti, which is much more evenly matched this time, and when watching this I questioned it at first, given their first encounter. But perhaps we can put that down to the fact that Sabine was being attacked by surprise and wasn't fully prepared for the fight. The only other question I had was that why didn't Ahsoka choose to fight Haiti instead? We all know that Ahsoka is far more skilled than Sabrine Wren, of course being her master and trainer, so she easily could have chosen to fight Haiti and defeated her while Sabine went on to find the map overall. But I guess they wanted the dramatic way of Sabine trying to overcome the previous defeat, which they were hoping to give her far more weight later on down the series. But I would also say that there hasn't really been sufficient development in terms of Sabine's training, where we could say that she's improved her skills enough to overall defeat Haiti in fights. But we'll just have to roll with it as this episode goes along. Now I did feel that the choreography in both fight sequences was staged quite well. Of course it was nowhere near the same levels of what we saw for either the original or the prequel trilogies, but it's still some of the best lightsaber duels that we've seen in all of the Disney Plus Star Wars series so far, which for the most part have been very light on lightsaber duels in general. But without question the best duel was between Ahsoka and Bayan, and it was good to see Ahsoka finally facing a superior opponent and taking some damage and losses. And this raised the stakes, and this whole sequence and this whole episode I would say was elevated because of the performance of the sadly late departed Ray Stevenson. And in this episode he finally was given the chance to impose a presence as Bayan. I thought he was great in literally all of the dialogue and scenes that he had with both Ahsoka and Sabrine Wren. I especially like the scene between him and Sabine where he convinces her not to destroy the map, very much playing on her longing to find Ezra. Now in terms of the narrative perhaps it didn't work, but Stevenson's performance in the scene was convincing enough to make you believe that he could actually talk Sabine down. Now unfortunately it does seem like Bayan won't be the out and out full villain here. It's looking more and more like he'll be some sort of conflicted antagonist, and that the main villain role will go to Morgan Elsbeth, who I'm still not convinced overall as a character. Now we saw later on that Bayan referred to knowing Anakin and that he knew that Ahsoka was his Padawan. Now some people will question this because of course we've never heard the mention of Bayan before in either the prequels or the Clone Wars. Now technically of course Anakin could have met somebody called Bayan in the past, and he could have had discussions about him training a young Padawan named Ahsoka, and hopefully we'll get greater context throughout the rest of the season. But this is yet again the problem with these Disney Plus prequel stories, is that they constantly add elements to the established canon, and this will always cause confusion and backlash from original fans. And for me, it's just not something that's necessary to do. Just have Bayan as a brand new character, sensing the fact that Ahsoka is very powerful within the Force, and just continue from there. We don't have to keep going back and leaving little droplets into the backstory. Again, that causes problem within the continuity that's already been established. So hopefully we get more context regarding this character later on down the line. Now of course, as I mentioned before, we see Ahsoka taking some losses, and this results of course in Bayan laying down the supposed final blow, and we see Ahsoka falling off a cliff. Of course, since the show being titled after her, we know very well that she will come back in some capacity. As I mentioned, it's just good to see the main lead character take a defeat, showing that they're not completely infallible and unbeatable. And again, this raises the stakes when we come to some sort of eventual rematch between both her and Bayan. But we come towards the closing scene where we see Ahsoka awaken in this seemingly other realm. Now for anybody who doesn't know, this place very much seems like it's the world between worlds. Now this was a concept that was introduced in the Star Wars Rebels series. And in terms of a concept, this is a realm where I believe both Jedi and Sith are able to travel to different parts in both time and space. Now in terms of the Rebels show, we saw Ezra, the main character, enter this realm, saving Ahsoka from her fight against Darth Vader, which was happening in another time and space. So this could raise alarm bells in some capacity if they're going to start trying to delve in much more time travel and upsetting yet again more established continuity down the line. I would highly advise against that, but again, with all of these Disney Plus shows, you're not really sure where they're going in the long run. Now we did of course get the final scene where we see the appearance once more of Anakin Skywalker, who you all know was Ahsoka's master and friend. Now of course it was expected that Anakin would appear in this series, as obviously he's a very integral figure in Ahsoka's character, and we saw this all the way throughout the entire 7 seasons of the Clone Wars. And this is the same as what we saw with the Obi-Wan series, where of course Anakin again was very integral to the story of Obi-Wan. Now whilst many fans will be very happy to see Hayden Christensen once more as Anakin, I'm not really sure if any more can be added in terms of the Ahsoka and Anakin dynamic. Their whole story was fully explored both in Clone Wars and Rebels. So what really more can we add that hasn't really been told already in these previous series? Now on the one hand, this is probably a good sign because it will finally allow Ahsoka to become the central focus of the show, because for me and for a lot of people, so far throughout these 4 episodes, Ahsoka really has been much more of a bystander, as we've been focusing much more on trying to develop Sabrine Wren. And I do agree with the criticism that a lot of people have had of the show, in that it feels much more like a 5th season of Rebels rather than a 1st season of Ahsoka. So hopefully now going forward for the next couple of episodes, we will bring the focus back to Ahsoka, add extra weight and context, especially when we're tying in Anakin, and this will hopefully bring Ahsoka to be much more centre stage in her own particular show. So hopefully this will see an upturn in quality and urgency, I would say, in terms of the overall story for Ahsoka. But so far, in terms of this episode, it was without question the best in the season so far. And I really hope and pray now they can really pick up the pace and really get to the point now where we do eventually see both Ezra and Admiral Thrawn. I really hope that they don't leave both of the reveals of these characters until the last episode, as that will be very underwhelming and very much feel like a short change for anybody who's really invested in this universe that they're trying to build here. But overall, I would say episode standout, not exceptional, not mind-blowing, but in terms of the Ahsoka series so far, without question, it is the best, and hopefully now the show can pick up and improve further on after this particular episode. So there's my overall thoughts and feelings on the 4th episode titled The Fallen Jedi from the 1st season of Ahsoka. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this was indeed the best episode of the series so far, or do you think there's still much room for improvement? And do you hope to see now Ahsoka finally take centre stage and focus much more as it is her own particular show? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have any other television series or movies or any other topics within the pop entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover, then also let me know within the comments, and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.